Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I had a different video planned to film for you, but then I was kind of inspired to talk about all my favorite foundations that I like to mix together and my favorite foundation combinations that I think just make an amazing base. So I wanted to mention, first of all, two foundations that I really love for mixing into other foundations, and the first one is my favorite one to do this with, and this is the Lawless Woke Up Like This Flawless Finish Makeup. And I have this in the shade Oasis, which is a super light shade. This is actually what I'm wearing by itself today, but I frequently mix this with other foundations, and I really like the effect it gives because this is a super dewy finish foundation. It gives a really nice natural luminous finish to the skin. For me with oily skin, I definitely need to set this down. I have it set today and it's still looking very luminous, and I will definitely get greasy throughout the day, but the reason I like to mix this with other products is because it's super high coverage. For being a very green beauty brand that has all good ingredients in it, it's the most high coverage but good for your skin foundation that I've found so far. And this one just really amps up the coverage of any foundation you mix it in with. So I can mix this in with something that doesn't have a lot of coverage, and this will just really beef up the coverage. And I'll also mix this in with foundations that are a little darker, since this one's very fair, depending on how tan I am at the moment, and I just love it for that, and I would highly recommend this on its own or to mix in. My favorite one to mix this with is my Osmosis Performance Wear Satin Foundation in the shade Golden Light, and these two together kind of make the perfect color match for me, because this one's a little too dark, this one's a little too light, and then together they kind of make the perfect color. And these are both good for your skin, healthier foundations that I think my skin reacts to very well. I don't get any breakouts from them. My skin doesn't feel thick and clogged down with makeup. This is a really great combo for when I'm having a lot of breakouts like I am right now. So this won't aggravate them, but it will definitely cover them and give them a full coverage look. And this one is also very full coverage and does have kind of a more natural dewy finish, but is a little less dewy than this one. So combined, they kind of make a nice happy medium for me for my oily skin. But I also really like to mix this with super matte foundations, because this will kind of make it really luminous and, again, keep the coverage. So I've been mixing it with my Milani Conceal Imperfect 2-in-1 foundation. Again, this is in the shade Creamy Vanilla, which is a little too dark for me. So since this one is so light, it will balance that out. But also, this is a medium to full coverage formula, and it's long wearing, water resistant, and sweat proof. And I love this combination for when I want a long wearing look, because this will give super duper full coverage. And honestly, that's typically the look that I'm going for, because if I'm wearing makeup, I want to cover a lot of something up. So right now I want to cover a lot of these breakouts, so these two together will give super high coverage, and this one will just kind of help the Milani be not so matte, and the Milani will help the Lawless not be so dewy, and it kind of creates the perfect foundation for my skin type. So I've been really loving that combo as well. And then the other foundation I really like to mix in is this NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. And I did a whole video on this, and as I've been using it more and more, this foundation is interesting to me. It wears really well for the first half of the day. I wore this yesterday on its own, and for the first 6 hours of the day, my skin looked great. It looked flawless. I didn't get oily. It stayed a really nice demi-matte finish, which is what I like since I have oily skin. If you have dry skin, I would stay away from this because it does kind of dry down more matte. But then a few more hours later, it really just separates on me. It looks really good for the first half of the day and then just totally separates. It doesn't get too greasy looking, but I just have this really noticeable separation, especially along the chin area with this foundation. But what this does have is really mattifying full coverage. So I like to mix this in with something like the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation, because this is a light, luminous, just healthy, dewy foundation, and mixing these two together will really, this will beef up the coverage of this one and make it a little bit more matte. And again, just combining two kind of opposite foundations will really suit my skin. So this one's a nice moisturizing, hydrating, healthy finish look, and this one's a more matte, full coverage look. So together these make a really good pair, but I can mix this foundation with any kind of similar foundation to that. Anything lighter and more luminous that I want to make a little bit more matte and give a little more full coverage, I'll mix a pump of this in. And the other reason this one is great for mixing is because it's super full coverage, but just a little bit comes out. So that tiny little pump, that's one full pump of this foundation. This will really cover a lot. Like for my whole face, even with a lot of breakouts, 2 pumps covers mostly everything. I use a 3rd pump just to get additional coverage where I have really dark blemishes. But if you have like pretty flawless skin and not a lot to cover, 1 tiny pump of this will really cover your full face and provide great coverage. So the other reason this one's good for mixing is because such a little amount comes out. So when you're mixing in with another foundation, you're not going to end up with like a huge amount of extra wasted foundation. You're just going to get like 1 pump and that will that little dab will do you. So that was a super quick video, but I just really wanted to mention these 2 foundations to you guys. If you want full coverage in your foundations, but maybe you have a few more luminous foundations or a few more matte foundations that you want to kind of change the finish of, either of these products will be really good depending if you want to add a little bit more glow or if you want to add a little bit more mattifying factor to your foundation. Both of these give super high coverage, so I think these are great to mix in with other ones, and vice versa. Some of the other ones I mentioned are kind of great for, you know, watering down the coverage of some of these more intense foundations. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this video and seeing which foundation cocktails I'm enjoying at the moment and what I've been mixing kind of on a daily basis. As always, all the products that I mentioned will be listed in the description box down below, so check that out if you're curious. I also upload 2 days a week on Monday and Thursday, so please subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you haven't subscribed already. It really helps me out. And I also wanted to say a huge thank you to all of my subscribers. I just hit 500 subscribers, so that was so awesome. I love all you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.